All right, you guys, we are going to be talking about absolute value. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be in our first tab, just right here, that's called absolute value vocabulary. We're going to be working on learning targets 3 and 4 at the same time. So at any time, if you need to pause the video to catch up, that is totally fine. So absolute value, go ahead and get your highlighter and highlight this. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. So if you have 0 here, and maybe -2 here, and 4 here, the absolute value of -2 would be 2, because there's 2 spaces from 0 to -2. The absolute value of +4 would be 4, because it's 4 spaces. Absolute value is neither negative or positive. It's just the amount of units, so you don't need a sign on it. Go ahead and get your highlighter and highlight absolute value again. Absolute value is written with 2 lines. It's written with 2 lines, such as this one right here, -2. So these 2 lines right here. That is what absolute value looks like. For instance, the absolute value of 4, I would write the 2 lines and have the 4 in the middle. So it's just asking us, when you see those 2 lines, it's asking us how far is this number from 0. So when we're asking, go ahead and get your highlighter again and highlight this. When it's asking us to compare absolute values, again, it's just asking us to use 2 inequalities, less than or greater than. Again, we've been working with this, but I wanted to show you once again what less than and greater than is. So now you can go ahead and close up that first tab, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the next tab. So we are done with absolute value vocabulary. And now let's go to the tab that's called absolute value expressions and comparing absolute values. So we're going to do 2 things in one shot. In fact, let's go ahead and let's do number line next, just so that we can stay in the order that we were already working in. So I'm going to erase that, and we'll go to the tab called number line. Okay, using number lines to find the absolute value. I've already showed you 2 examples, but let's go ahead and read this one. Is the distance from -3 to 0, so highlight that, the same as this distance from 3 to 0, +3 to 0 on the number line? Well, let's look. First, I'm going to number them. I have -1, -2, and -3 is here, and +3 would be over here. So the question is asking, is it the same are they the same distance? Well, let's look. To -3, we start at 0 and we go 1, 2, 3. That's 3 units. So my absolute value would be 3. Now let's go to the right, to the positives. We go 1, 2, 3. That is completely correct. The absolute value for both of those is still 3. So we can go ahead and answer yes, 3 units. The next question. If you have your highlighter, go ahead and get it ready. The absolute value of -5 and the absolute value of +5 are the same. Well, let's try this. Let's see if we can prove this. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to do a -5 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do a +5 here. All right, let's see if the absolute values are the same. Is the distance the same from 0 to -5? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my absolute value is 5. And on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is the same distance. They're not the same numbers, but it is the same distance, 5 units. So go ahead and write that information down. Okay, let's move on. Again, at any time you need to pause this, please feel free to. We're going to be working on absolute value expressions and comparing absolute values. Don't forget inequalities, which is less than or greater than. All right, so let's get into an expression. Remember, you guys, expressions are simply those problems without an equal sign. Okay, and if I can turn it, there we go. All right, so now we're going to be looking at expressions. This one right here, as soon as you see those two lines, is asking what's the distance on the number line between 0 and -5. Well, that's easy. It's 5 units. Okay, let's do one more, and then the rest you'll do on your own. When you're done with this video, you'll go back and finish it. This one is 21 minus 7. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to solve everything inside. So the first thing you want to do is you want to subtract 21 minus 7. So if you do 21 minus 7, that is 14. So what the question is asking is, how far is positive 14 from 0? It's 14 spaces. Okay, let's talk about comparing. For comparing, we're going to find the absolute value of -9. So how far is -9 from the number line? It's 9 spaces. How far is 4 from 0? It's 4 spaces. So now we can do the comparison. 9 is greater than 4. So you're going to be finishing those up as soon as you are done with this video. Let's go ahead and go to the last tab, which is absolute values in the real world. So for this one, I want you guys, you're going to be reading each statement and either marking true or false. So as soon as you're done with these notes, I want you to work on the last 2 tabs.